Our previous discussion about the golden rule to love our neighbour as we love ourselves, or treating others as we would have them treat us, suggests that this is the one requirement that enables us to achieve the goal of living a full and satisfying life. But we have also said that this is a difficult requirement because we are often blind to our own failings, while we see the failings of others all too easily. It's like spending too much time looking over someone else's fence while overlooking what's happening in our own backyard. Ever heard the sayings, if you point the finger, there are more fingers pointing back at you? Take a good hard look at yourself. Or the statement from Jesus himself, take the plank out of your own eye before you deal with the speck in another's eye. We all need to learn to be consciously aware of ourselves on a regular basis if we are to apply the golden rule to ourselves. Not being introspective in a negative sense, but understanding how we think and act, alert to when we become judgmental on others. For the most part, most of us get along pretty well because of the shared values of culture and because of our compliance with the rule of law. Even in the ordinary events, such as going about our business, driving our cars on the road, sport and everyday activities require a lot of cooperation. The rule of law keeps us all on the right side of the road. What we find is the compliance with the rule of law is a very blunt instrument that requires strong enforcement and the threat of punishment to make it work. So pretty much, obey the rules and avoid getting into trouble. In addition to the law, civil society relies upon alternative ethical principles to the golden rule, but they only work when we are required to respect one another on the basis that I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine, and the greatest good for the greatest number. But it is in intimate relationships, away from the arena of polite society, where the system breaks down, often with tragic results, where what goes on behind closed doors is not so obvious. Intimate relationships require more than politeness or social compliance. They require love in its highest form, to seek the best interests for another at some risk to yourself to make them work. Normally, intimate relationships reflect the passions of our souls, where there is no place for egotistical self-interest to determine behaviour. If we are honest, we will agree that we do not always treat those closest to us as we should, resulting in a breakdown of trust, where the promises upon which a relationship depends are broken. One technique to consider how we treat our relationships is to think about it like sending an email or a text message. This is a simple process where we review our words before we say them or send them to see if they reflect our aggressive or defensive ego, or do they reflect our passionate soul. The words we speak to our loved ones are the most important words of all, and we should always reconsider them in the same way before we say them or send them. Think before we speak. In any exchange, what do our words reflect? Is it ego or soul? If ego, hit delete and certainly do not send them. If they are passionate, then reconsider the effect they will have on the other person. In every case, we should review what we have written or are about to speak and ask, would I want these words to be spoken to me by someone important to me? Send or delete challenges us because it really costs us something. This most important element of the golden rule is hard to learn, a lesson that we must keep relearning and applying every day of our lives.